can you share your cancer diagnosis journey?
I can. Okay. So I was diagnosed in October 2020. I was 32 years old. I had a lump come up on my breast that was really, it was easy to feel. Yeah. And didn't think much of it, honestly, because 32. I'm young, healthy, no significant family history. So delayed getting it checked out longer than I should have. Went to my gynecologist and she's like, yeah, let's get you checked out. And had a mammogram. And I knew something was wrong in the mammogram because I was there for forever. I watched all these other patients come and go, and I'm just sitting in there. Radiologist came out, did an ultrasound, and turned the light on and said, you have breast cancer. And it was terrible. It was a horrible experience.
Were you by yourself when you got that news?
I was. Wow. Awful. Should never be by yourself to get that kind of news, but I was. So that was that. And then that kicked off. I started treatment in November, and did a lot of treatment. Yeah.
That lasted until about when?
It was, so we did, I did 6 infusions of kind of just like the full blown regular little chemo cocktail. I did 6 of those. We went every 3 weeks. So it was about 18 weeks. Okay. And then I did a double mastectomy and reconstruction. So I had the option to do like a mastectomy, like just take out part of it, take one, take both. I said, I
get it all out.
That was the right decision for me.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then the mass was still there when they did the surgery. So technically I had residual cancer at the time of the surgery. There's a 50-50 chance that it could have gone away completely, but it didn't. And so because of that, they recommended another round of treatment with a drug called Kadcyla. Which is, I think it's a chemotherapy, but it doesn't have nearly the bad side effects. You don't lose your hair, nothing like that. Yeah. And so I did 14 infusions of that every 3 weeks.
Yeah. It's interesting to me how you can take out all that tissue, but it's still not completely go away.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's something weird. Okay. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually, how would you describe your overall treatment experience?
Not fun. It was intense, right? And I'm saying that as a relatively young, healthy female. Yeah. It was grueling. It was physically to go from being healthy and feeling good every day to being sick, having joint pain, having, not sleeping well, having headaches. I struggled with a lot of GI problems from one extreme to the other. Yeah. So that was daunting, and that was also mentally fatiguing, right? Like I kind of got in my own head a lot, just being really frustrated to feel and to be sick when you've spent your whole life not. Yeah. It was frustrating. And spiritually, I would say it was a great opportunity for me to grow in my faith and to dive deeper, because you start to ask yourself a lot of questions. Why is this happening to me? I don't understand, what God's goodness, why is this happening? All these things, right? So it was a moment for me to be really humbled and really grateful to have my faith and to grow deeper in that.
Yeah. So how did that change, I guess, your day to day? Because you would have infusions. Was it every Monday that you went?
Yep. Every third Monday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, that changed how often you worked, when you went in. Just, I don't know, your daily routine. How did that kind of change?
It definitely affected it. I went from, obviously, everything I do at the house, cook, clean, all that, I really put all that on hold. Yeah. Going to the grocery store, all those things. I try to limit being out and around people as much as I could. And then from a work perspective, I was fortunate enough to have a job where I could be flexible with my hours. Yeah. And I could work from home on the weeks where I had my infusions and was feeling really, really sick. So that was fortunate for me. But it was also a real blessing, because the work kept me going. It kept me busy. It kept me having a reason to get up, put makeup on every day and be professional, and to take my mind off myself, to take my mind off of all of my circumstances. And so I was grateful to be able to continue to work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, what aspects of your treatment do you feel like went well, or what made you feel supported?
Definitely the nursing staff. Mm-hmm. They were incredibly supportive and just a key part of my journey and of my experience. I went into the infusions by myself because it was COVID. Yeah. So everybody just had to drop me off at the door. And that was awful. And you're scared. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going on. And these, nurses like yourself, you have a huge impact on people. Yeah. And I'll never forget the very first nurse that did my chemo infusion. She was traveling. Like she was floating between various offices.
Okay.
She was there for my first infusion, and she did not leave my side for what felt like 6 or 8 hours. And she was amazing, and I never saw her again. She never came back, but for some reason, I think I needed her.
Yeah.
That day for that long treatment. She had a lot of experience. She was happy. She was jovial. She was, laughing with me as I went on my Benadryl little loop-de-loop kick in the beginning. I mean, it was just a wonderful experience. So then the nursing staff, and then of course friends and family made me feel supported.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned that about that nurse, because something that me and my friends say to each other, like, while we're getting ready for a test, like, hey, your future patients need you. Like, there are people who are going to be in the hospital who are going to need you and going to have you. So you got to, as a nursing student, learn absolutely everything you can and just make your patient feel like the most important thing in the world to them.
Absolutely. So, yeah. You have the opportunity to be impactful, and sure, impactful with your knowledge and your direction. And you need to be looking out for all these things, but just also impactful from your kindness and your empathy and your support. A good nursing experience can make or break your whole experience for something.
Yeah. Were there any moments or aspects where you felt your care could have been improved?
No, not really. I went to like a chemo first class. So before I ever started infusions, actually your mom went with me, and we went together and like got this binder. The nurse kind of just went through some like basic education information, things to look out for, take your temperature, stay hydrated. These are the major things you need to be careful of or to look out for. So that was helpful. And I think having access to your doctor's office, whether it's if you have to call in and leave a message or if you can send a message through an online portal, that is critical, because most patients are not medical. And you could, I'm sure I asked some incredibly dumb questions, but you just don't know. And you're scared. Like you're like, I don't know should I be feeling this way? Is that normal? I don't know. So having accessibility and good follow-up and feedback from your doctor's office was critical. And I had a great experience with that.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's see here. What kind of support systems did you have during treatment / there was another question I had that was really similar to that. Anyways, you talked about Clark and your sisters. How, I guess, did they impact how you...
Support role. You have to have a good support system. And there are people that don't have that. There are people that, that I would sit with in the infusion rooms, and you could, you thought, or based on maybe experiences that they shared with you, they didn't have somebody to go home to and to help them. And my heart broke for those people, and it still does. Because, yes, you need good nursing staff. You need good medical professionals, but when you're at home, you need help too. Yeah. People to keep you laughing, keep you engaged, keep you going. And my sister's friends, family, you guys, parents, Clark, my husband, obviously it was incredibly meaningful, and it helped me get through it. I don't know how people survive something like this without a good support system.
Yeah. And that makes me, I guess, as a future nurse, all the more aware of like, hey, not everybody has the family that I do or the close friends that I do. So, I mean, that's really, really important just to make sure everyone feels like they're loved.
And when you have that patient in front of you, you have the opportunity to make a difference and to say something to them, to say a kind word, and they may go through the rest of their day not feeling cared for. Yeah. But you have that opportunity when they're sitting in front of you.
Yeah. Something random that I also thought of, set up the infusion room for me. Like, how many people were in there? Like, was it like a privacy thing, or was it just like a bunch of chairs?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of chairs. It was literally like just a gigantic infusion room. Yeah. You just walked in and it opened up, and there were probably maybe 15 chairs. Just spaced throughout the wall. And then there's usually however many nurses on the little wheelie carts with their computers and just going around. And but they took amazing care of me. Would get you warm blankets or, drinks, Sprite, snacks, whatever. They never made you feel like you were being needy or whatever. And at first, I didn't want to ask. I felt like I was imposing. And then halfway through it, I'm like, hey, can you get me a Coke, please? Or whatever. You kind of become friends with them. And you learn that that's why they're here. That's what they want to do. They want to make you make you feel cared for.
Did you have repeat nurses after that initial travel nurse, or was it kind of different people?
After that, it was usually a consistent team, which I loved. That was nice. Yeah. And they liked it too, because they enjoy seeing, not everybody gets better, and it was, they enjoyed seeing patients get better. And whenever you finish, you ring a bell or, do something. And so it's a big moment for them. Everybody crowds around and you want to get pictures made with them. Fun. And so, it's a fun moment. It's an
exciting moment to be able to ring that. Yeah. Looking back, what type of information or education would have been most helpful? I know you said that you had that class already, but just anything else that you would have mentioned to somebody?
I think our system does a good job of providing good education. I think it's hard to absorb everything that they're telling you, right? Yeah. So, and the patient portal is great because you can go and you can get all your medical records and you can say, what did the doctor say? Like, what were his notes? That kind of thing. But meeting with my oncologist, meeting with the nurses, especially in the beginning, I absorbed very little of what they said. So I think just having additional resources, and again, just having access to your records and access to someone to ask questions is very, very important.
Yeah. How would you say that your outlook on life in general has changed since coming on the other side of all this?
Definitely for the positive, right? Yeah. It's definitely made me be more in the present, which is not always easy to do.
Yeah.
And it makes me more grateful to have health. And I realize how fragile life is and how in literally day to day, hour by hour, your life can drastically change through no fault of your own. It just can. And that's just life. So I think it's given me a sense of staying in the moment and just of an increased amount of gratitude for each day.
Yeah. Would you say that there's anything that you feel like you're still trying to navigate, like any negative physical impacts, emotional things that you're still trying to work through, or do you feel like you've kind of come out of it well?
Yeah, so I'm still on a few medications, right? So I'll be on those for another year. So I have some just side effects from that. Yeah. Nothing that you can't figure out how to manage and navigate. I would say what I was not expecting was like the post chemo, post treatment trauma. Like, I'm talking like every headache, every wrist ache, every like shoulder pain. I'm like, oh God, it's back, which is like terrible. But like literally, Clark calls me a hypochondriac, and my doctor gave me very wise advice. He said, whatever, comes up, you take ibuprofen for a couple days. The pain doesn't go away, then let's talk about it. But like he kind of knew that, like, obviously, like he has patients that go through that, but like the post-traumatic, oh my gosh, this hurts, it's back. Yeah. I developed like an ankle pain shortly thereafter. And I'm like, Clark, I think it made it to my ankle. And he's like, that's not possible. It can't travel that fast. So like, just like all these like weird little things in your mind. Yeah. But and also having like a person in a safe space to like express those silly concerns too. Yeah. And Clark and like your mom, my sister, has done a great job of giving me that space to be like, my wrist hurts. Do you think it's cancer? Like, no. And just to vocalize it and get it out there. Yeah. That was unexpected. And there was a time, Reese, where I thought about it every single day. And my doctors and Clark would tell me it gets better, the longer you go. And now I go by days, weeks without even thinking of it, which is, at the time, I would have been like, nope, that's impossible. I am marked for forever. No, you do. You rally.
Yeah. Well, that kind of bleeds into my next question for you, which is, what does the term cancer survivor mean to you? And I know we kind of talked about this earlier. Like, I don't like that word. I don't think survivor, that just sounds to me like,
what word is right to you?
I think the word thrive is right. Thrivivorship, something along those lines just seems better to me, because I like it. Survive indicates like, I barely got through this and I'm just going to kind of like crawl on.
Yeah, but like, that's not what you're doing. Negative,
negative connotation
I
to
like it. I like it. There's a more positive spin we could put on it.
Yeah.
No, but I think cancer survivor, if I say that, I feel incredibly blessed, because not a lot of people have the same outcome that I have. So I feel very fortunate to be able to say that. Hard to believe, still feels kind of weird. Yeah. But very grateful for our medical system, grateful for access to good care. Grateful for all of those things to put you in a place that you can say, I did this, I did hard things and I survived, and here I am. But I like your idea on thrivership.
Yeah, we need
versus survivorship.
What advice would you give to someone who was recently diagnosed with cancer?
I would hug them. So I have a friend that's gone through the diagnosis, and I mean your mom went through the diagnosis after I did, and it's horrible. Like it's just horrible. And I think I don't come out as a cheerleader. I just sit with them in their fear and their anxiety. And so I would give that person a big hug. I would probably cry because I get emotional even today thinking about it. But I would hug them and I would say, it's going to be okay. Whatever the outcome is, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And to take things one day at a time, even a half a day at a time. Do whatever you can to just try to stay in the present, because we're not meant to have to look down a really long road.
It's overwhelming.
Of hardship.
Yeah.
It is overwhelming. You got to break it up into small pieces.
Yeah.
So set your sights on small objectives and stay in the present.
Yeah. On a kind of similar note, I was reading this book a couple months ago, and it was this guy in SEAL Team 6, and he was talking about training and how hard that is. And he said, literally what I did is every single morning I woke up and I thought, I can quit tomorrow, but for now I got to make it to the next meal. So he would literally have these like 4 a.m. workouts, and he was like, okay, get to breakfast. All right, get to lunch, get to dinner, and I can quit tomorrow. And he would wake up and, has to do it all over again, say the same thing. So yeah, one bite at a time, I think, is critical.
Well, and you've probably had to use that, I would think. Like the nursing career that's a long journey. That's hard. That's new. That's scary. I mean, I'm sure you probably had to.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, something that my dad told me was, hey, like, don't let the schooling, keep you from doing what you really think you want to do and are called to do. So, I mean, I would use that a lot with my classes. When I would have a giant test coming up, I was like, okay, just today, I'm just going to study my butt off today and we'll figure it out tomorrow. And I felt like I didn't know what I was doing half the time, just because I'm like, well, what the heck am I reading? But, and something that also really helped me, me and my friends tell each other this all the time, is like, hey, your future patients need you. Like that one nurse that you talked about who was really impactful. I mean, we're going to have patients like that who I think are literally made to be under our care. So it's important that we, be knowledgeable and know all we can, but also just be uber compassionate, like that one was for you. So
do you think that you would ever go into like oncology? I
definitely would consider it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, like we talked about, it's really important to be able to be compassionate, but also, I guess, from the nurse's standpoint, to be able to box it and to pick it up whenever you're there, but lay it down whenever you leave. Because I would be walking around depressed and heavy all the time if I wasn't, if you're not really careful about laying that down. But yes, for sure, just to be able to be someone who can be such a blessing to somebody when they're going through something that's really scary and when they may not have anybody else. I mean, that I think would be so neat. So for sure, I'm open to it. Yeah.
I love it. I think you would do great.
So we'll see. All right. Last question. What do you believe nurses should better understand about the cancer survivorship experience?
Well, nurses probably already know this, but that it continues long after that person leaves your care, right? Yeah. So equipping them, I think if nurses, the better job they can do to equip a patient to carry on the journey after they've, finished treatment, right? So if you pick up good habits along the path of treatment, if you take better care of yourself, you stay more hydrated, you get more sleep, all those things, I think for nurses to encourage patients now, hey, you continue all these good habits whenever you're done. You're not coming in to see me every 3 weeks, but I still want you to take care of yourself because you deserve it and you need to do that. So I think championing the good habits of self-care after the fact is really important.
Yeah. Noted.
Take care of yourself always.
Right. Always.
And put the numbing cream on your port for the love of all things. Have you stuck anybody in a port yet? Or in anybody's port?
I mean, I've given some people some shots. I've given heparin a few times.
You let me know if you ever have to put
something in somebody's port. Yeah.
Let me know.
I will. Well, thank you for letting me do this.
Thanks for coming on. This was fun.
So fun.
All right. This is the Peachy Comeback, everybody. Thank you so much for watching.